Hello, my name is Michaela Maciejewski, and I did my presentation on Baystate Medical Center for our not-for-profit entity presentation. The introduction is Baystate Medical Center is a 780-bed independent academic medical center located in Springfield, Massachusetts. It's a teaching site for UMass Chan Medical School in the Baystate area. It services as the primary referral center for Western New England, and it's known for its Level 1 Trauma Center and Baystate Children's Hospital. Their mission is to improve the health of people in its communities through quality and compassionate care. Core values of Baystate Health, they operate on the principles of respect, integrity, teamwork, and a commitment to lifelong learning. Their community engagement provides extensive charity care and outreach programs. Part of Baystate Health System with several affiliated hospitals, which include the regional campus, their trauma center, community health centers, Baystate Children's Hospital, and family advocacy centers. Overview of financial statements for quarter 2023. Operating revenue is 1.8 billion. Operating expenses are 1.7 billion, and the net assets are 3.04 billion. Here is a chart comparing Baystate's financial ratios compared to the benchmarks. So in the past, there were 1.7 to 2, and then for current ratios and days cash on hand, they're 75 compared to the benchmark, which is 90, which is low. And then operating margins are pretty close together. As far as age of the plant, we are significantly lower than the benchmark, which is great. Liquidity ratios, our current ratio is 1.7. The benchmark is 2. Days in accounts receivable are 45 to 60 days, whereas the benchmark is 45 to 60, which is perfect, right on track. Days cash on hand are estimated to be 60 to 90 days, whereas the benchmark is 90. So if we are on the lower end, that's good, or we might be right on track. Average payment period is 45 days. We have stable liquidity, but room to improve cash reserves. Acceptable, but slightly below optimal levels, and cash reserves could be stronger, but receivables and payments are well managed. Profitability and efficiency ratios. Operating margins are 5.8%, which are a little higher than the benchmark, but still fine. Revenue per discharge is $32,738, and our expenses per discharge are $30,900. $30,900. Excuse me. Baystate Medical Center versus revenue and expense per discharge. Our revenue per discharge does outweigh the expenses per discharge, which is good. There are healthy margins between the two. Its strong positive operating margins and revenue per discharge indicate efficient and effective service delivery, which is perfect on track. Solvency and capital structure. Our age of our plant is 1.6 years, which is perfect because the average benchmark is 10 years. And our long-term debt to net assets are 1 to 2. Modern infrastructures and low financial leverage are what I see in these data points. It's very healthy because the low plant age and favorable debt ratios show excellent financial stewardship and reinvestment into the facilities. Financial strengths. We have a strong operating margin, excellent reinvestment in infrastructures, sustainable net asset base, and positive community perception of services and outcomes, which is great. Our weaknesses include the below benchmark liquidity, as our days on cash hand is quite low. Current ratio slightly under 2. Economic pressures from inflation and labor costs, which is why that cash on hand is so low. Improvements that I can foresee. We need to focus on improving days cash on hand, maintaining profitable despite rising costs. Does anybody have any ideas how we can do that? We can talk about that at the end, but I do want you to think about that. Our plan for long-term capital investments and debt strategy. Reassured by modern facilities and continuing care access, which is great. Supportive nonprofit mission and charity care efforts. If we continue to do those, that would be greatly improve our community outreach. And I'm very hopeful for increased transparency in financial communications. In summary, Baystate is financially sound with solid profitability. We need minor improvements in liquidity. We are positioned well for long-term growth and service, and overall a strong and stable not-for-profit healthcare center. Any questions or comments? I know we have moved forward with some layoffs, and that will continue to liquidate some funds to increase all the areas that we need to. Any comments or questions? Thank you so much for listening.